Welcome to the In Crowd. Our group explores the boundaries of D&D, placing story and character before mechanics. Enter with us the Isle of Berdea, a land rife with untamed wilds, ancient mysteries, powerful kingdoms, and tales of heroes past, current, and yet to be. Now, before we dive in, let's meet the characters.
I am Naomi. I'm a forest gnome. I'm a bard. And I am searching for my friend. His name is Popo. And he borrowed from me a priceless treasure.
I am Eartran. I'm a high elf, and I'm a one-man army searching down a pirate ship, Avenger, and I'm seeking retribution.
Hello, I'm Beatrice. I am the heir to the barony of Northcliff. I moonlight in disguise as Triss, a human rogue. But what I really want is to prove my worth outside of my family's name.
Hello, I am Argus. I am a wild elf druid. Yes, I am that. That's exactly what I'm trying to talk to them. Excuse me. I'm sorry about that. I was sent by a magical entity called the Duskwell to take care of Iratran. Yes, I did. Again, I apologize for him. The reasons why I am to take care of Iratran are not yet revealed, even to me. So this is going to be fun.
Excellent. All right, lastly, I just want to say thanks so much for supporting us and watching. Last week, we unlocked subscribers because so many of you came out to watch, which is a huge thing for a brand new show. So thank you so much for that. This week, it would help us a lot if you just spread the word on social media channels, hit the follow button, or best of all, become a subscriber. Subscribers make it possible for us to keep showing up every week and putting on this adventure for you, and we definitely want to keep doing that because we're having an amazing time and there's just so much more of an adventure yet to have. All right, players, settle in. Let's roll. Help! A woman screams rip through the night. Instinctually, Naomi, Triss, you sprint away from the leaderboard outside the Last Oak Inn and break into a run headed towards the cry. As you draw closer, you see a glow much too bright above the roofline. Then a lick of flame twists hungrily up into the night. A group of dirty children are huddled together on the street. Intense heat pushes a man back from the front doorway. The children! The children! The man yells, pointing to the second story as he waves his arms for someone, anyone, to help, because the orphanage is on fire. The two of you have just arrived in a group of people. Jer is with you, Triss. He has been tagging along, but the two of you are standing at the front of this group. What would you like to do?
Well, I want to ask the group of kids if they know if there's anyone else still inside.
Yeah, there's one who seems to be the oldest of this little gaggle of orphans, and they step forward and they say, yes, I know for certain that 3 of the young ones is on the bottom floor and 2 is on the top.
3 on the bottom, 2 on the top. Okay. Is anyone getting a fireman line of water going or anything around? What's going on? Where's the well? Who's in charge?
As you say that, you hear a clanging of a bell come around the corner, and several wagons, which have very shoddily painted on them, fire depth, come rolling in. And they do start hauling buckets of water off of the back of the cart, but they're splashing it onto the buildings that are nearby, soaking them without spending any time putting out the orphanage.
Oh my God, that's a government organization for you, am I right? All right, I turn to Triss. Hi, we don't know each other. I know this is a personal question. I'm sorry, but it's an urgent situation. Do you have any kind of, like a magic, like a water creating, like anything? Are you one of those?
No, I don't have magic, but I could potentially scale the building and get the child that's on the top floor.
Oh, that's great. That's magic, kind of. Okay. How do you feel about carrying things, small things that are the size of me?
Would you like me to carry you upstairs?
Yeah.
Okay. How small are you? Like, can you fit in my backpack?
I'm like, yeah. You snug, like, but yeah, sure. My head poke over the top would be great.
I dump out my thieves backpack and I make it nice and roomy and I'm like hopping.
You see that Jer is standing next to you, scooping up your items, trying to keep them all together. And you plop Naomi into your bag. You can see clearly that there is a window on the second floor that isn't quite engulfed in flames, so you will be able to climb up there. You will be rolling acrobatics at disadvantage because you have a gnome in your bag.
Can I look to Jer and say, can you give me a boost as well?
His hands are full of your things, and he thinks, Triss, I think maybe it'd be best if I just stoutly guard your items. I ain't really interested in the flames.
All right. Okay. And you said roll acrobatics?
At disadvantage, please.
What does disadvantage mean?
It means you roll twice and choose the lower, because you are carrying a gnome.
12.
Okay. You're going to be able to get up to the window, but you are both going to take 1 fire damage on your ascent, because one of the windows next to this one bursts out in a billow of smoke and some flames, and the two of you are caught in the heat. But you do make it up onto the second floor, and you're now looking into the orphanage. It ain't good. Roll perception, either of you. Yes?
You want me to roll 2?
That's a 2.
Okay. Naomi.
There's so much smoke.
You are actually going to take 1 subdual damage from smoke inhalation as you poke your head out of the bag right into a column of it, and have to retreat back into the pouch, wiping your eyes. Triss.
I rolled a 15.
Okay. You can see the 2 orphans that were spoke of. There's a boy and a girl. They're holding hands tightly, and they're huddled into a corner. But between you and them, there is what looks to be a sagging floor. The fire is allowing the weight to undermine its structure.
Is there like baseboards or something that I can crawl around that has a little bit more stability?
Yeah, you can go the long way. It's going to put you in the reach of some fire, however. I think this is just going to be...
Can I throw Naomi over?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Naomi, I know we just met, but can I throw you?
Oh, I love the way you think. Let's do it.
Okay, I'm going to launch her over to the orphans in case I don't make it. At least one of us gets over there.
Yeah, sure. Just roll dex. I don't think it's going to be very tough, especially because she's going to be assisting you.
26. That was a natural 20.
Ooh. She softball pitches Naomi across the gap. You do land safely on the other side, easily clearing the floor that is damaged. The orphans seem very happy to see you, but when you land, you can tell that the only way back, the only way out is going to be through the window that you came in, because the rest of the building is on fire.
Okay. Okay, so listen, you guys, we're gonna get you out of here. Just stay calm, stay low to the floor, okay? If you catch on fire or whatever, stop, drop, and roll, and just think of the cool stories you'll have to tell your friends afterwards, all right? Everyone just stay together, stay tight. We're gonna be fine, all right? And don't run, walk, okay?
The older of the two, the young girl, puts earmuffs over the young boy and says, "Listen, miss, we trust you completely, but if you could just get us out of here without saying my little brother's gonna catch on fire, I think we'd be a little more confident."
Totally hear you. I'm a realist. It's a habit. I'm sorry. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Is there like a a curtain cord or some bed sheets that's not on fire or something?
Yeah, there's enough around that you can start ripping off the parts that are on fire and make something out of it.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's do some like escape knots in a bed sheet and like try to lasso and get the end of it back over to Triss.
Okay. The orphans are going to help you, so you're not going to have any trouble making this thing. I would like you to roll a dex check as well for the throw.
Okay. Ooh, okay. That is a 23.
Okay, easy. Triss, you grab it out of the air. You've now got this little tightrope across the broken floor. How would you like to get the orphans across?
Okay, guys, here's what you're gonna do. you're gonna hold on and kind of sling underneath it and just try to crawl along like a sloth. Are there sloths here? I don't know. Have you ever seen a sloth? Probably not.
We've heard of sloths, ma'am.
Oh, good. Okay, you're gonna be a sloth, but like a super sloth, right? So
The little one gives you a thumbs up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, kid. You know what I'm talking about. My mind. Okay, let's go. So I like help him up onto the underside of the sheet.
Sure.
Try to scribble along.
With your ingenuity with the sheets and their help, and also your expert toss to Triss, you watch as the two orphans, slowly at first, not understanding exactly what part of a sloth you wanted them to emulate, but then much quicker as the flames lap at them, cross hanging underneath this rope and make it to you, Triss. Naomi, how are you getting back across?
Okay. Triss, you're just gonna give a one good pull, all right? You're just gonna yank me right across, yeah? How do you feel? Feel strong?
Yeah, I'm gonna look to the two little orphans and I'm gonna say, okay, I have a job for you, a very, very important job, okay?
Yes.
I'm gonna have you stand behind me, you're gonna hold this rope with me, and on the count of 3, we're gonna pull with all our might so we can get our gnome friend, Naomi, back over here safely, okay?
Yes. You're gonna roll strength with advantage. This time rolling twice and taking the higher because you have help of 2 invested parties.
18.
Okay. Naomi, with one great tug, you fly through the air and into Triss's arms.
Oh, good catch. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad I'm not on fire. Let's get out of here.
The orphans are already waiting at the window and are starting to climb out. And you can see, though it's taking them far longer than it would take you, they're able to navigate down the side of the wall. And the 2 of you, if you would like, can get down easily as well. But there are still 3 orphans in the first floor, if those ragtag kids out front can be believed.
Sure. And there's not a way through from the interior. We're gonna have to go.
You could
outside
fight
to
through the
get
fire to
inside.
get through, if you want to be dangerous.
I don't know if I told you, but Danger is my middle name. Let's do it.
Is? Wow, mine is Laurel. Okay, but later. Okay, well, I can get them back outside and round everybody up if you want to go in, or I can come with. What do you want? What do you need support? Do you need emotional support?
I don't need emotional support, but I mean, I could use an extra set of eyes if you're up for it. If not, you could go back out and take care of the kids. I'm sure they're pretty traumatized.
Let's do it. And I pull Triss's bag back over my body and like try to punch my legs out of the bottom of it, so I have like a little capsule of flame protection.
Baby Bjorn.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the
that's fine.
sheets too. I'm gonna take one of the sheets and drape it around us.
Okay.
So we have some kind of protection.
Sure. The orphans make it down to the sidewalk. You take a look out the window and see that they joined the little gaggle that said that there were 3 others inside. And let's just get a baseline acrobatics roll from you, Triss, at
20.
disadvantage.
Oh.
Ooh, sorry to rob
Disadvantage?
you of that. Sorry to rob you of that.
God. Okay. 24. Okay.
Even. So you got a 20. With Naomi in the baby Bjorn, you leap over the damaged floor and start to cut your way down through the flames looking for a staircase. It doesn't take you long to find one. The building is deep but not very wide, and so you come upon the staircase and are able to slide down the railing because you rolled a 20 and make it to the first floor. There are 3 orphans down here. 3 little boys. They look like triplets, and they're huddled underneath a very, very old and beaten piano. There's a half wall of fire separating you and them. They're towards the back of the building. You can see the front door behind you.
And there's
Is
a
there a-
whole wall of fire between us?
It's like a half wall. You could jump through, leap through. You might take a little damage if you roll low, but you might not.
Are there any doorways to other rooms, but like behind them that we can see at all?
Yeah, there's one that goes towards what looks like the kitchen.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, what do you think? Front door? Closest distance between 2 points? I don't know. What do you think?
I think closest. I don't think we have a lot of time, so my gut's telling me to get there as fast as we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
You leap through the flames. I'm going to let you ride on that 20 to get you to the orphans. But
Okay.
when you get there, unlike the other two who were holding hands and waiting for you, these three have huddled back as far as they can to the wall, and they seem to be afraid of your entrance. To be fair, you are huddled in a sheet carrying a gnome and just smoking. But they are pressed against as close as they can be to the back wall underneath this piano. And they say, please don't hurt us. Please don't hurt us.
We're not going to hurt you, I promise. And I reach into my pocket and I pull out a rose that I clipped earlier from the garden. And I'm like, look, do you see this flower? Have you seen one before?
Ma'am, I know that it's a dire situation and I shouldn't be petty, but I absolutely have seen a flower before.
Okay, good. Then I want you to hold on to this while we get you out. And I hand it to him.
Roll persuasion, please.
Wait, sorry. That was wrong. Hold on. There we go. Natural 20.
The kid takes the flower, puts it in between his teeth, and grabs his two buddies and follows closely behind you as the the five of you leap out the front door with Naomi bouncing in the baby Bjorn. Just as you make it out the front door, the floor from the second story that had been giving you trouble collapses and the walls start to sag in, and you can see that you've made it out just as the orphanage starts to destroy itself.
Oh, it's a shame about that piano.
We fade out on the fire in the night in Portugal. After nearly a month of traveling across desert and wasteland, your eye spots a river blue and shimmering. It must be an illusion, you think, even as you are crossing above it on a wooden bridge. Two guards watch you enter town wide-eyed. One mumbles, "Did they just come out of Bossa Mortok?" Then, like a beacon of salvation, you see a wooden sign hanging above the entrance of a pub. It displays two hefty golden ingots between a pickaxe. The blocky script reads, "The Miner's Nuggets." An empty wine cask sits out front like an umbrella stand and is filled with shovels, picks, and other digging tools. When you enter, you can see that the inside is filthy, both in soot and patrons. The long bar gleams as a ruddy-haired man wipes it down between a couple of keg taps. He hails you when you walk in the door, Iratran and Argus, and says, "Why, bit cleaner than I'm used to. What can I fetch for you?"
Water, preferably. I've grown quite fond of the taste.
He side-eyes you, but scoops some water out of a bucket.
I look at the barkeep, and then I look down at our clothes that are still completely covered in desert. Like, most of the desert is in our clothes. And I just kind of desperately take as much of it as I can and try to start smearing it on my face to make myself more dirty with the dust as much as I can, just to kind of be a part of it.
An interesting strategy, but that is what I'm used to. He points down the bar, and you can just see a bunch of miners who are just covered in soot.
Hello.
You get a couple waves.
What is your special of the day? I've heard about those before.
Ale.
That doesn't sound very special.
I could put, well, Just ale.
You don't have like a slice of lemon? Maybe spruce it up for my friend?
Ooh,
Oh.
that sounds lovely.
He reaches beneath the bar and pulls out a lemon that has not yet been cut or peeled, and you can see that it is just pockmarked with mold. And he says, I can squeeze that in for you.
Oh, yes, please.
He slices it and squeezes it into yours, and then holds it up above your water glass, Iratran.
No, it's okay. I
Offering?
like pure water.
Okay.
I've
He
never
slides
had
those
lemon.
over.
I've never had lemon and ale before, Iratran. Is this gonna taste good?
Sure.
Excellent. No,
Yeah.
you can't have any. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I think it'll definitely put some hair on your chest.
Okay.
He tells you that it'll just cost you a copper for an ale and a water.
Alright, so I'm gonna start scanning the bar, I think. Checking out these miners.
Okay. You start looking around without noticing that Argus has seemingly drifted off to a place only he is aware of. But roll perception.
Roll in. 11.
Okay. The group of miners that the barkeep pointed to give you an idea of how dirty people usually are, they just look like your average sort, probably in their final years of working below ground because the work is rough. There is a fellow at a table about halfway through drinking by himself. He looks to be crying into his mug. And then there is a woman in back who's wearing a filthy red plaid tunic. And she has a large axe next to her that she did not leave in the barrel outside. And you could see that she's covered in dirt similar to you guys. She must not work in the mine. But she is by far the most imposing figure in the bar.
Okay. Hey, Argus. Argus? Hey, I shake Argus.
Huh?
Hey,
Yes.
are you gonna be all right here? I want to make a friend.
Oh yeah, I'll be fine. Thank you.
All right. I take my water and I go over to speak to the woman with the axe.
Sure. And it's just leaning casually against the table. But you can see that its grip has been hand carved and wrapped in leather that's been treated very well for such a well-used weapon or tool, I should say. She looks up as you approach and nods curtly.
That's a hell of an axe.
Why, thank you.
It seems well worn. Might I ask about your calluses?
She holds up her hands, and you can see just a thick pad of flesh along each of the knuckles and the bottom of the palm. Her hands look to be oiled in whatever the oil is that she uses on the haft of the axe, but there are thick calluses on both. You can see that these are working hands.
You got a lot of action swinging that axe.
Yep. Most of the folks in town tend towards the mine, but we need wood, same as we need coal.
Yeah. Gotta chop wood, I suppose. I thought you were chopping something else. Never mind. I go back to Argus.
She's like looking at you from across the bar, just like kind of at a loss.
Yeah.
You approach Argus. Argus, what of you?
Oh, I'm totally still zoning out, man.
Ah,
Yeah.
how's that beer treating you? It must be very strong.
It
Barkeep.
tastes like lemons.
Barkeep, your ale seems pretty strong. May I have one myself?
He pours one, sets it down in front of you, holds up the lemon,
No.
sets it down.
I like my ale plain.
As you settle back to take a sip, you get the distinct impression that there's somebody standing behind you.
Behind me specifically?
Behind you specifically.
Huh. Well, I'm going to try and see what their intentions are. I'm going to go ahead and turn around and check them out with some insight. Yeah?
Okay. It is the woman in the plaid tunic. Roll insight.
21.
Yeah. She's got a bit of a curious look in her eye. It's a bit wild. She looks at you and says, "Now, I got to ask, what exactly did you think I was chopping?"
Well, what else do people chop with an axe?
She squints at you and takes a step back and says, "I don't like when people answer my questions with a question."
Why wouldn't you like that?
She grimaces.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to impose, but why wouldn't you like that? It's just inquisitive. That's the nature of the world.
My friend asked you a question. Don't you have an answer?
I feel like you came in here looking for something, and perhaps I'm the one who's going to help you find it.
Ah, we found a guide, Argus.
Do you kill people with that axe?
No, she's boring. She only chops trees.
Oh, okay. You chop down trees.
I know, right?
At this point, she stepped back and slid the chairs that were behind her out of the way and the table. None of these things are very big. They're all just light wood. But every eye in the tavern is now on you, Iratran.
Oh.
Are
you going to take a swing at me?
I think she wants to dance with you.
I don't know the steps in this particular region. I put down my beer.
Okay. What would you like to do? It's clear that she is challenging you.
Yes.
Okay. Will you accept that challenge?
I'm going to make her earn it.
Roll initiative.
All right.
I will be drinking the rest of his beer.
6.
Okay. Before we continue, Argus, make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh my god.
You're getting tipsy. We got to start with water.
Oh, nat 20.
Okay.
I am not
you are
drunk.
thirsty, and it seems like these beers are not quenching your thirst. You feel like you could drink a lot of them without worrying about it.
I will.
All right.
I will.
What did you get for your initiative there, Iratran?
6.
Okay. That almost beat her, as a matter of fact. But she takes a step in and swings for a 16.
That is exactly my AC.
Okay, meets it, beats it. To be clear, her axe is still leaning against the table that she walked away from, and this is just a barehanded strike.
All right.
So that's going to be 1 plus her strength mod, which just happens to be 3 damage total, subdual to you, Iratran.
So 3 damage.
Now, this strike is... you've been in a few fights. This is not an overly aggressive blow. She feints to the left, takes a step to the right, and cocks you with a little bit of a wide punch, almost giving you an opportunity to see if you were going to block it. You can tell that she's testing you.
I took it on the chin. I guess I suppose we're not going to talk this out. Wood chopper.
Oh, we're talking.
This is my language. I'm going to go ahead and kick her in the crotch.
Okay, roll it.
8.
Okay. She sidesteps and swings again, this time with the left hand, for a 17 to hit.
Ouch.
And that is going to be another 3 damage.
She might be my favorite.
I think
This
she
one-
likes you.
This one was a bit quicker. It seemed to be her response to your your words rather than your actions.
Well, now I'm gonna go ahead and punch her in the friggin' jaw.
Okay, swing it.
Am I just fighting this lady? Yeah, 16. It's happening.
That's gonna hit.
Yeah.
Roll. I guess it's your damage is going to be 1 plus your strength modifier, which I think is 2 as well.
Yeah. So.
So you do 3 damage. Okay. She takes this blow on the chin and wipes just a little bit of blood, and then she smiles. But unlike her past interactions with you, this smile seems genuine. Argus, what are you doing?
I'm just drinking everything and
Okay.
enjoying this and kind of like being mini cheerleader. Like I'd like to believe that I'm doing something with my my druid craft where I'm kind of like creating like little mini, like almost like little cheerleader explosions kind of going off.
Okay. Yeah.
Ha!
The bartender seems to be very impressed with this. The miners have all scooted back just a little bit farther. You can tell they were hoping for a nice quiet drink after work.
Come on, boys, it's time for entertainment.
Yeah. If you wanted a quiet night, you should have gone to another bar.
There's this thing called betting. I've heard of this before. Would you like to bet?
One of them does actually perk up at that. And he kind of looks to his friends, and then they start changing around gold, and they kind of, it's just single pieces. And he just looks to you and asks, you want in on this?
Actually, I don't have any, what is that shiny stuff that you're throwing around? Is that gold?
Yes.
Yes.
I
Yeah, I
throw
don't have any of that. But
You what?
I throw him a silver piece. Obviously.
Okay, as you're circling with this woman, he tosses you the silver piece.
I go, I have something here that perhaps maybe I can negotiate with, and I hold up a silver piece. What are we betting on?
Who's gonna win? Who do you think?
Oh, I think that we're all winners at the end of the day from this kind of competition.
All right, draw. He writes down and then takes your silver piece and puts it into the pool.
Is there an odds of some kind with that?
Just straight across. It's just who's gonna win. We don't know your friend.
I'll take the draw. Sure. I like to draw. Drawing is fun. I like
Iratran, she rolls a 10 to hit, overcompensating. While we're in the middle of this fight scene, everybody, and in the palace of your minds, we realize our picture went out. We're trying to fix that now, but assuming you can hear us just fine, we're going to keep rolling for a second until we change our mind. Iratran, she swings over your head, giving you an opening. You can roll with advantage.
Oh, nice. All right.
Oh, get him.
We're going for those ribs. Going for the ribs. 13. Not a good.
Nope. She comes back with an elbow and misses as the brawl starts to get very, very dirty. And you both are fighting a bit sloppier. Perhaps that ale has gone to your head. But again, with this miss, she presents an opening, Iratran, and you will be able to roll with advantage one more time.
All right, let's do this. Come on. Oh, I don't even need to roll again. I just got a crit 24.
Okay, yeah. So that'll double your damage, which is going to do 6.
Yeah, that's enough.
What exactly happens? She goes for you, misses. You go for her, misses. She cocks back her elbow, coming around to face you, and misses one last time, and you land a crit. What does that look like?
Oh, that crit is me doing this like you've seen Street Fighter 2, right? Yeah, like I'm going like
Okay. This goes under the chin, and she spins into the air and smashes back on one of the tables that she doesn't move far enough away and rolls back towards her seat. It takes just a second for her to get back to her feet and take a couple deep breaths. And she actually walks over to where her axe is, leaning against the table, picks it up, and slams it into one of the tables, and then says, "Now that is what I call a good time. And she points to the axe, and you can see that it is beautifully made. And she says, this is a tool that's been passed down from hands to hands in my family and used to chop the wood that's kept our home warm. There's other axes on my walls that I use for chopping of other things. And she extends a hand to you, Eritran.
I shake her hand.
Okay. It's a nice warm grasp, and she actually gestures to the table that's still standing and invites you and Argus over for a drink.
See? A draw. That was a draw.
You actually make 8 gold, Argus, as all of the winnings go towards you. And you get your 1 silver back.
I hand Eritran back the silver and go, thanks for the loan. I think the drinks are gonna be on me.
I think
there is a roar in the crowd. Roar in the crowd. That is well received.
Okay. I just meant this fast, but okay.
It won't actually tax you for all of it. 1 gold's going to buy everybody in the bar a drink.
Done.
So you can
All
still
right,
get
cool.
the rest.
Great.
All right. A job well done. I can't believe you didn't bet on me and it still worked out.
Oh, I believe that in life, there are no winners and losers. There's only people.
So says the guy who
And
won all the gold.
trees. Well, make a profit, if anything.
Your new friend introduces herself as Poti and says, what exactly are you doing in town?
Trying to hydrate.
Drinking.
She waves over a couple more drinks and you guys are able to sit around and talk. She tells you that she's from here, hasn't really left, and spends most of her time in the forest cutting wood. The lumberjacks in town are a much smaller group than the miners, but because of that, the work is a bit different and a little bit less help, but she does make more than the average miner does. And she just kind of tells you about town life, and then she starts to ask you about what you're doing.
I washed up on shore from whatever ocean is over there, and this man saved me.
And I am gonna follow him to this ocean thing. This enormous tree that we call the ocean. And
If you're
observe it.
trying to get to the ocean, I imagine you're headed towards Portuak, yeah? To get a boat?
Correct.
These words mean nothing to me, but okay, yeah.
Okay. She actually spends a little time and asks if you've got a map. Do you?
No. I'm literally fresh off a boat and not in a good way.
Okay. I think what ends up happening is you spend the rest of the night drinking with this gal, Poti, and she scribbles you a very rough, very basic map on a piece of paper that will get you in the general direction with a couple landmarks of Portuak, and then takes you to just the general store and helps you pick out what you might need for a very easy trek.
Those gold are coming in very handy.
Yeah, I know.
And to
That worked out
completely
rather
outfit
well.
yourself, again, it will only cost you 1 gold.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Okay. Well, we be what is the term? Ballin'? Is that what we are?
You be ballin' indeed.
But we don't have a ball. Should we buy a ball?
It's
Oh,
our heart.
you don't need a ball to be ballin'.
The ball is in our heart, Argus. The ball is
Our
in
hearts are balls.
our hearts.
as-
Our hearts, but fallen is in. Just
I see,
Eritren
it's
puts his arm over you and leads you out of town, explaining to you how one could actually be balling in their hearts as the sun starts to set and you've had just a couple of hours into the wilderness before making camp, and our camera starts to fade away.
But about this ballin' thing.
We hear Argus say as the screen goes to black. This is the morning after the fire at the orphanage. Triss, there's a smell of foul weather in the air that the clouds have yet to gather. Twilight neighs, happy to be out with you. The grassland tumbles ahead for miles and miles. The wind blows past your ears as if urging you to go with all speed into the world, and it sings a thrilling noise in your heart. You are hurrying to make it in time for a date that your mother has asked you to attend to go riding with her. The Baroness is waiting.
And I'm on my horse, meeting her.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about your horse. I know that Twilight is a companion that you are very fond of. So give us just a little introduction to Twilight.
Twilight was the horse that I got to pick on my 9th birthday. Twilight was a wild horse, I believe, that they acquired, and everybody thought I would pick the stallion or the workhorse, or there was a couple other ones, but Beatrice, being very stubborn, she saw this wild horse and was like, I need it, and they bonded immediately, and she named it Twilight after just one run with it, because it's very, very dark. It's black and it's kind of inky, and it's got purple tinge to it, so she always thought it looked like Twilight.
When would you say you got home last night after rescuing the orphans?
When did I get home?
Yes.
Ooh, probably around 11 p.m.
Okay. And have you had... What's a hype train?
Oh, hype train! That's amazing! Thank you
Guys,
so much.
Thank you so much for the hype train. Okay. So, all right. So in my mind, Beatrice, you were sneaking home covered in soot, smelling of a bonfire.
Right.
What have you done to prepare for this meeting with your mother?
In the morning.
In the morning. Bright and early.
Immediately when I snuck in, I went to the baths and cleaned up as best as I could, and tried to, tie my hair up and hope that when I took it down in the morning it looked okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't. It's crazy. It's everywhere. And I grabbed the closest bit of clothing I could find, which was a very rumpled dress from a couple nights ago. And instead of grabbing my riding jacket, I grabbed my dressing robe, and I have now completely look disheveled.
Okay. You crest one of the hills and see atop the next in these rolling fields, lit by the sunrise as it is bright and early. Your mother, the Baroness, is sitting atop her horse. This would be a very old mare that she's had and trusts more than most of her servants. And they are sitting regally waiting for you. And you can see that once your mother hears your horse galloping up, she looks to the sun in a very medieval, looking at the watch to try and calculate exactly how late you are. And you gallop up, and she waits for you to speak.
It's a lovely day for riding.
What's left of it?
There's plenty of time left. Who's on a time crunch? Not me.
Well, lucky for you, you're not the only one who's late.
What do you mean I'm not the only one who's late? I thought it was just us.
And at that, you see a feathered cap coming up over the hill behind you, and rising into view on a beautiful Berdean thoroughbred is Sir Bottenberg at your service, my ladies, he says into the cool morning air. So sorry I'm late, but I had to shine my stirrups.
Well, what kind of impression are you making being late?
A rather bad one, and for that I am terribly sorry. He actually tries to bow in his saddle, and it looks pretty stupid. But he doesn't recognize that and actually bows deeper and then sits up and says, "You must forgive me, Beatrice, and you, Baroness. It is the deepest shame on my house to be tardy to an appointment."
Right. I forgive you.
Thank you.
I look to my mother and I'm like, left out that little detail, didn't you?
Oh, yes, right. I do have many things to attend to, so
What?
enjoy the field,
What?
Sir Barton.
What?
Our land is your land.
No,
And she
but-
turns her mare around and gallops away back towards your house. And Barton sidles up next to you on his horse and says, "Well, to where should we be riding?"
I hope you can keep up. You can follow me if you would like. And I take off.
He yells after you, "But I'm an expert horseman."
Perfect. Shouldn't be a
Roll
problem,
animal
then.
handling, please.
Roll what?
Animal handling.
All right. 20.
Yeah, you rolled a 6. So you you explode into the fields, showing him what Twilight can do. This is an impressive horse you're riding. She's gorgeous and she glides through the air. And the two of you have a deep bond. And you are fucking gone. Botan comes after you in a very prancy trot, in no way making speed, saying, "My lady, my lady, my lady." And you are gone into the fields.
I think after a little bit, I turn around and I'm like, oh, all right. So I slow my horse down. I'm like, it's okay, Twilight. Let's take it a little easy for the buttons. And I wait for him to catch up.
Sure. Is there anyone particular that you would go?
I think I would lead him to. There's just an overlook that's really beautiful that looks over like a lot of our land, and you can see the sea, and it's kind of the top of a cliff, and it's kind of a place I go to reflect a lot.
Mhm.
I think I'll just lead him there. Get off my horse because I'm exhausted. I haven't slept, and maybe take a little pity on him.
Okay. It's going to take him a minute to catch up to you. You were gone, and he rolled so poorly that you're going to have a little bit of time to yourself. When you sit down in the grass to catch your breath, you feel a cold, wet something nuzzling your hand.
My hand?
You turn to find a little schnauzer that is nuzzling you and licking your palm. And from over the hill, towards the path that would lead down off of this overlook and towards the direction of the sea, though it is very far away, you see a familiar face that you met last night at the yeah, that was at the ball. It's Jean-Luc, one of the traveling dignitaries who attended your party, and he's running up and saying, Mouser, oh, I am terribly sorry, my lady. Mouser likes to get a bit familiar.
No, it's perfectly fine. He's adorable. Is this the schnauzers that you talked about so fondly?
One of them. One of several, unfortunately, but the only that I brought along for the trip. And he scoops up Mouser and holds him quite regally, actually, and the dog assumes a very natural pose.
It takes everything in me not to scratch him behind the ears. What are you doing out here so early?
Oh, just, to be honest, admiring your lands. It's not often on a trip like this I've as much free time to wander about, and I thought I would take Mouser for a walk.
Yes, they're beautiful, although it can be a little bit suffocating sometimes, but I'm glad for the view.
Suffocating?
Yes, this is all I've ever known. I don't get to travel. I don't get to see things outside of this, and currently this is really funny timing that you're here, because the last time I've got buttons on a horse behind me. I left him. My mother is still trying to set me up with him, and he is just not taking a clue that I don't want anything to do with him. So he's probably going to round that hill any minute.
He looks back towards the direction that you're pointing, but Botan has yet to show up. And then Jean-Luc spins around a little bit, smiling at what he sees, which is a very pastoral and beautiful landscape. The overlook that you happen to be on is one of the perfect places to overlook the grounds of your house. And he says, "My, what an absolutely miserable existence."
Yes, I know what it looks like. Also, I'd like to apologize for sort of forcing myself on you at the ball. I didn't realize that it could look really unfavorable to your wife.
Oh, I don't think we need to worry about that.
I should have had better manners. I'm sorry.
He's about to forgive you when you hear, "Jean-Luc! Jean-Luc!" And coming up and over the same path to which he had just run after Mouser, you see a woman. And she is dressed in the most absurd impression of outdoors wear that has never seen the outdoors. And she is tiptoeing away from all of the dust and all of the weeds. And she says, "Jean-Luc, good God, I told you I needed you to slow down." "Oh," she says when she sees you.
I try to tame my hair down a little bit.
This is not lost on her.
I'm like, "Hello, you must be Jean-Luc's wife?"
At the same time, they say, "Fiancé." And she says, "Yes, I am Ambassador Cremille. And you are?"
I am Beatrice.
With that, her entire demeanor changes. And she says, "My lady." And she actually stoops into a pretty low curtsy. And she says, I apologize. I must say your lands are immaculate, and we are ever so grateful to be able to tour them at our leisure. Thank you. You must extend my compliments to the Baroness."
All right, I will, but she doesn't listen to me very often. I can try. And don't worry, please don't apologize to me. I'm sorry I look so unkempt. It was a late night.
In the roll insight.
Okay. 21. Yes.
Okay, yeah. With your rather informal and forthcoming demeanor, you can see immediately that Ambassador Cremille has zero idea how to have a human interaction with you, and was perhaps trying to find the more formal dialogue that is common among quick greets of the upper crust. And Jean-Luc steps in and says, "We'll never apologize again." Just as you hear clop, 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 "My lady! Oh, my lady! Absolutely wonderful ride." And Botan clops up, the only one on a horse, sitting rather regally, and says, "Oh, Ambassador Cremille." And she nods and says, "Jean-Luc, perhaps we should finish walking the dog." They give you a bow. Jean-Luc kind of gives you like a half of a wink, and the two of them turn to leave. But Botan is all smiles, and when he tries to get down off of his horse, he falls into the grass.
Well, all right. It's a little bit uneven ground here, so I suppose I can't blame you. So I help pick him up. It's like, let's just sit down and let's just have a conversation, okay?
Absolutely.
I realize we don't know each other that well. Let's talk about things that we potentially have in common. What is your favorite memory from childhood?
The camera starts to pull away, showing how beautiful the landscape is, as Botan goes into a story about being taken to a sweet shop. He, in depth, describes each of the candies he thought he would take home. But by the end of the story, as we fade into black, he tells you that he was so indecisive he didn't actually try any of them. And then we transition into our next scene. Naomi, we're actually going to take it back just a little bit to a moment that you shared with Jer, Triss's friend, after the fire at the orphanage. So it is the night before. The flames have extinguished themselves at this point. The building has collapsed. The fire department has kept all of the nearby buildings safe. And the two of you have found yourselves back next to the leaderboards where you first met outside the Last Oak Inn. And Jer says, so I saw you checking these out. You ain't thinking you're gonna get inside the Last Oak Inn, are you, Naomi?
Oh, well, I mean, we were looking for someone, and we initially thought maybe he was in there, but then it turns out they have this whole hero kind of criteria, sort of thing. So he is definitely not in there. So we're gonna probably move on, but it's interesting. It's we're just checking it out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, it is a bit difficult. And he points to a section next to the leaderboards that has a. Let me just see how this is worded here. It just says entry requirements. You must complete one adventure. And then listed underneath are some examples of pending adventures. There are recommendations next to each of them of difficulty. And some of them have a recommendation of 20 plus heroes, or just these like magic item, magic map, like just this insane amount of requirements. And they're just stuff like vanquish the troll berserkers in the Crag of Endersmere. There's like slay the dragon, retrieve the horde. Next to the dragon, it says name ? Like there's just a bunch of stuff where it's just like clear the undead out of these old ruins, like do all of these things that are just really big. And then towards the end, Jer actually points to something. It's just titled a simple quest. And he says, actually, I suppose if it's like something like this, it ain't that hard. And he reads, retrieve a silver shade nightingale.
Do you think they're being metaphorical, or is it a bird? Because I've got a net. We could get nuts here.
Oh, I don't think it's a bird. I think it's a type of flower, actually. Yeah, the petals look like bird wings. That's why it's named after that. Very rare.
Yeah. Now that you say that kind of fits in with their whole thematic thing here. It kind of really lines up with all the literature. I see what they're going for with this. If I was a betting gnome, which I am, by the way, I would guess that this thing had some kind of, if not magical, then at least mildly psychoactive property. So I don't know.
Oh.
I'm in. How do you feel about this thing?
Oh, me personally, you mind if we take a walk?
I love walks. Let's go.
He leads you out into Portuak, down the mainmast in lane, which is just a bunch of old ship masts that are hanging in the main drag of Portuak, and their colors and their sails are billowing in the night air. The smoke is starting to clear out, and Jer says, Naomi, it ain't any gnome that would just buckle themselves to an unsavory sort like Triss and throw themselves with her into a burning building,
I suppose, but when an orphanage is on fire, it's kind of like buckle yourself to the sketchy person first, ask questions later, Yeah.
And I think it's that kind of logic that might be the the type of thing Triss is going to need in any of the friends that are dumb enough to go on this adventure with her.
Huh. So you're saying there's an opening?
Well, it just so happens I don't want to go.
Oh, I see. So you need something from me. Interesting.
Well, she might need someone who's brave and heroic and nice on the eyes to go with her.
Jer, you are selling yourself short, my friend. My God, the way you held all of her stuff when I dumped it out of her backpack, I mean, only a heroic friend would do something like that. You know, I mean, she didn't even lose her trash, so it was amazing.
Yeah. So, here's what I'm thinking.
Yes.
Now, I didn't mean to eavesdrop, though I completely did. It seems like you're looking for someone, and they just might be in the Last Oak Inn. Now, I know you just told me you don't think that they are, but I did hear a name whispered on the wind by one of the bouncers, uncertain as to why this individual was allowed inside.
And what was that?
Popo.
Say that again.
Did I say it right?
The accent was a little, that was, okay. All right, I'm listening. What'd you hear?
They ain't sure why this fellow's been allowed inside. Kind of sounds like what you were saying is right on the mark. But he is in there, and perhaps they ain't letting him out.
How did he, but you can't go in if you're not, oh my, okay, there's a lot to unpack. We'll figure that out later. So he is in fact inside?
Well, I don't know, but that's what I heard.
Okay. Jer, my friend.
Yeah.
How about we take a walk? We're gonna go back. We're gonna case the joint, like they say. Okay? You wanna come? Come with me? Okay, let's go.
Well, if I may, I think I got a solution for you that would be mutually beneficial. Now, what Triss is going to need is going to be her, well, whatever it is you do, I'm sure would be just what Triss needs. But I don't want to go. This is my home. I ain't got any plans to leave it, especially not to die, to get into some bar where the drinks are most likely overpriced. So I was thinking that I might be able to help you help Triss in a way that might get me off the hook.
Sure. Okay. I'm with you. Be specific, man.
It just so happens that I might know someone who might have a map towards, well, I've just heard of it as the garden, but in this garden, certain special flowers have been known to bloom.
Uh-huh. Okay. I follow. And who's got the map?
Well, they just go by the cartographer, which is a little Brechtian, but I suppose apropos.
Yeah, that's quite descriptive, actually. That sort of kind of tells you everything you need to know about him. That's okay. Is he around? Is he close by? Is he in the bar? What's going on?
She ain't gonna be open till tomorrow, but I'd be happy to put you up in the room that Triss uses when she decides not to make it back in time for curfew.
Oh. Okay. Sure. Yeah, free place to stay. I'm into it. Let's go.
Okay. The two of you head deeper into Portuak, where Jer actually stays on the roof of an old warehouse in what would be some kind of like monitoring shack that he's filled up with a very cozy accumulation of stolen furniture, goods, blankets. The two of you, I think, just have a couple glasses of vino, and then he points to the comfiest looking part of the floor and then rolls into his own corner.
All right. Well, sweet dreams. Thanks for putting me up, and I'll see you in the morning.
Okay. So one of the things that he does
stare at him until he goes to sleep.
He just sleeps. He doesn't try any funny business. He seems pretty stand up. So we're actually going to need, I think I want to look to chat here if I might get a little hookup from those watching the show. What Jared tells you is that the cartographer will only deal with known associates. And then he asks you whether or not you got a way to disguise yourself.
Oh, well, the simple answer is yeah. I don't know how familiar you are with gnome lore, but I would describe that as our jam, as our specific thing, as our main tip.
I heard as much, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I could get from chat, I just need the name of a small animal so that we can use that towards our next little obstacle for Naomi here. I'm relying on my innkeeper's voice in my ears. All right. I saw ferret. So what Jared tells you is he says, now, the cartographer's got someone that I usually have to use as my go-between. All right? They go by the ferret. To be clear, this is a small person that is being described to you whose nickname is the ferret. And he says, now, if you think you can embody the ferret, you might just be able to talk your way into a map with the cartographer.
Tell me, Jared, the ferret, are they, a person who works in acquisition? Are they also an expert? Are they, how would you describe their daily life?
Slimy middleman?
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. Sure.
So this all happens the next morning.
Okay.
And we're going to take you to the cartographer. One might think a cartographer's shop would be easy to find. Alas, that is not the case. Through the more well-to-do section of Portuak called Vekran Square, then down a back alley, which you got lost down the 3 different splits, finally, it dead ends at a wall of brick buildings, all cloistered together, which mutually use the alley as a garbage dump. Behind piles of old crates, broken pottery, and various doorknobs, you see riveted into the brick. It reads very simply, cartographer, maps, and compasses. Jer steps back into the shadow and gives you 2 big thumbs up, and he says, ferret.
Okay. All right. Okay. Ferret.
And also to make this easier on you, he gives you a general description of their physical appearance.
Okay, great. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna crack my knuckles and cast disguise self here.
Okay, I want to give this to you. What does the ferret look like?
Okay, sure. So the ferret is in the habit of wearing sort of a cowl, it would almost be like sort of almost a monk's cowl, but it's like covers sort of the ears stick out through little holes in the side, but then they have sort of a long draped part over the top, and tall black boots with long pointy toes, and they kind of have to lift their feet up a lot when they walk to keep from treading on the toes.
Okay. How do you approach the building?
Okay, so I'm gonna sort of sidle around the side, and give a little shave and a haircut on the door, and sort of keep myself pressed up against the wall and wait to see who answers.
Okay. The door squeaks open hideously, and inside there is the bent figure of an older woman with Coke bottle glasses and a hooked nose, and she's wearing a red robe with the hood up, and she says, "Oh, how dreadful. Hello, ferret."
Greetings. Fantastic to see you too. I see you haven't oiled your hinges since the last time I was here.
I find that the squeal of metal is music to my ears.
Well, that makes one of you. May I come in? I got a tail, and I don't mean the fun kind that you wrap around stuff.
Yes. And she gestures for you to enter. When you get inside, this is a small building made smaller by the sheer amount of bookcases and scroll casings that are just crammed inside. Every surface available is cluttered in maps in varying stages of completion. So we're looking at sketches, drawings. Some of them seem abstract, as though they're just an experiment. There is nothing but maps in here, and a lot of different brass instruments, compasses, magnifiers, the other kind of compasses you use to make circles, all kinds of shit. Rulers. There's rulers like you wouldn't believe.
Protractor.
Oh yeah. She's actually got a protractors like hung on the wall and labeled in terms of her favorite. And she gestures for you to enter.
Much
What
obliged.
Can I do? Oh yes. What can I do for you, Ferret?
Well, I got a proposition for you. But, first, niceties. How you been holding up? Are you eating enough? You look like you don't get enough sun.
I definitely don't get enough sun, but I've just stumbled onto pastries. Have you heard of them?
Pastries. You just discovered pastries? Jesus, how old are you?
She's an elf, and she says 302.
Wow. That's a long time to be without croissant, my friend. I wish you the best going forward. I'm really excited for you. So now listen. Sit down by the fire. I got a buyer. Long story short. Now we're talking deep pockets here, all right? You do not want to pass this offer up, okay?
I'm intrigued.
Yeah. Here's the thing. And I do not impugn because I know that you are nothing if not discreet. But this one is like mega security level hush hush, okay?
Okay.
Now, because of this, I can't give you the usual information, which I know you appreciate having all the details, but I hope that you understand when I tell you this is a pristine platinum deal. You don't want to pass this one up, all right?
Roll deception.
That's a 17.
Okay. She says, to be honest with you, Ferret, I ask of many details, but I hardly ever believe the words that come out of your mouth. Continue.
That's what I like about you. You're smart. Now, this here buyer, they're trying to get into the garden, all right? The garden.
She knows exactly what you mean.
So what do you think? Can you help me out? They will pay handsomely.
I suppose. I only safeguard this map because all who followed it before have died, and I wish no more blood on my hands, Ferret. Do they seem the capable sort?
Well, they seem capable of hiring a lot of people that can very capably keep blood off of the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, deep pockets.
Okay. Well, how about this? I'll leave it to you to negotiate as steep a price as you can manage, knowing full well that you'll receive 20% of whatever you can rake in. That way, you'll be incentivized to ratchet up the price tag. Does that sound fine?
I mean, you know how I love to work on commission. Here's the thing. This is the part I knew you weren't going to like.
I don't like any of this.
That's not my problem, all right? You got pastries going for you, and I'm not worried about you, okay? So just help me out here, all right? I'm just trying to get mine. You know that. Now listen.
I know.
This client, they're asking for proof of this map, all right? They're not interested in taking my word. I don't know why. I explained to them how nice and honest I am. For some reason, they weren't buying it. However, they're requiring, like an eyeball connection with this thing before payment. All right. What do you think?
Give me one more deception roll.
Yeah, that I think that's a 18.
Yeah, that'll work. As you're saying this, she says, yes, of course. They're always asking for proof, as though my reputation was built on some kind of falsity. She reaches up to a higher shelf and pulls down what looks like a brass scroll case that has a series of combination locks on it. They're around the tube. And she quickly undoes it. And then goes to the back of the room and pulls a sheaf of maps open, flips to the back where there's one that's been folded in half and tucked in as though hidden. And she slides it out and she says, now, again, Ferret, the map itself is worth very little, but I'm no fool. That simple quest has been on the leaderboards of the Last Oak Inn for as long as I can remember, because it isn't the garden that's dangerous. It's the woods around it. And if these fools intend to make it to the garden, they'll have their work cut out for them. She rolls it up and slides it into the combination, and then showing you which numbers are which. They're actually like arcane symbols, locks the tube. And she says, your 20% hinges on you making the sale and not losing the damn map like last time, Ferret.
Well,
You remember what happened last time, don't you?
I try not to think about it. But your point is taken. Your point is well taken.
She hands you the map, and she says, now, I expect you to be here tonight with my money. And if you can manage it, a signed receipt so I know that you aren't completely F-wording me.
Would I ruin a perfectly lucrative, perfectly courteous business relationship? I think not. Don't you worry. I'll see you just after sunset.
I'll be waiting. And you head back out into the alley where Jer is still just standing there like this, and the two of you disappear down as the camera fades away.
Put your thumbs away.
Okay, we're actually going to be out on the road next. Beautiful country. It's actually a light drizzle, though the sun is out. It's one of those magical afternoons. So you get all of the thrill of the rain and all of the wonderful smell without getting too wet. Iratran, Argus, you woke up early after your night in town, and you are now headed towards, according to Pote's hand-drawn map, the direction of Portuak. You can see that there are several cherry blossoms that are just beginning to bloom, and some of their petals are fluttering away. The petals on the ground are wet, and they feel just like pillows as you step across them because they're starting to cover the path. You do see, as you come around the next bend in the road, a small wagon with two figures working to get something out of the back of it. The wagon looks different than a merchant's cart because it's actually a lot thinner and flatter. And it seems to be a woman and a man who are trying to get something out of the back. And as you approach, you can see that it's actually a very simple wooden coffin.
Hello, do you need some assistance?
They almost drop the coffin, but they do turn, and you can see that the man is a priest of some local temple, and he's dressed in simple white robes. And he says,
"Oh, yes, please, we could use your help, and we could use it now."
What do you have in there? Is that some kind of supplies or something that you potentially could, eat?
I'm gonna guess that it's not supplies in this particular coffin.
But that looks like a big wooden box to me. I don't.
The priest says, your friend is right. Just as the woman who's helping drops to a knee so that the coffin actually slides out of the cart and sticks into the mud. the tail end of it still up on the wagon, and she starts to wail.
Oh, well, this
Sorry
is
for your loss.
Okay. There's no need to cry. It's okay. We can and I'm just going to run over and try to help with the other end of it.
Sure, yeah. With the two of you helping, it's pretty easy work. You're both capable adventurers. And
You're
you
very
do
strong.
help them set down the coffin in the petals of the cherry blossoms. And as you round the cart, you can see that they've actually dug a decent depth of a grave, though it's not a full 6 or 7 feet. And there is just a couple white stones that have been set in place of a headstone.
It seems like this one was young. Who passed, if you don't mind me asking?
It was my son. And the woman starts to cry again. And the priest calls the two of you over as to give her just a moment and says, "Yes, Brichelle recently lost her son. He was one of the guards in Erdecoa. The death was very sudden and unexpected. He actually died inside the guardhouse. A prisoner escaped, and when they found him the next morning, he was in a strange way."
What do you mean a strange way?
Well, his belt had been cut off and used in some way to, I think, free the keys that were around him. He was watching he was in charge of watching a prisoner, someone who they'd found that morning, snooping around the tombs in town, in the graveyards. It's why she's actually decided to bury him outside of town, because of what's been said to have been done to the hallowed ground of Erdecoa.
Makes sense.
Yes. There was a wound at his throat, but no blood, and it seemed as though the very life had been drained out of him.
That's crazy. I've never heard of a weapon that does this.
It could be magic.
That's
There
what
are
we
so many
thought.
different magical forms.
Well, I mean, do you have any clue as to where this magical murderer went?
We don't know. There were several new arrivals in town, but they all seemed to clear out just as soon as they'd arrived. We can only assume that they were working together. I doubt that the man was capable of escaping the jail cell on his own.
Well, clearly, if you said there were many arrivals, he must have had help, or they must have had help.
Some
We think so.
compatriots. Well, I'm very sorry for your loss. Argus, I don't feel good about leaving these people like this.
Of course not. Of course not. Priest, in my tribe, in my old tribe, I used to help partake in the trials of life. Would you mind some assistance? Can I help?
Please. It just so happens that what was her fucking name?
Rashawn.
Was it Brichelle?
Rochelle.
Rochelle. Okay. It just so happens that Rochelle takes no solace in my religion. I'm here as a courtesy to her, but if there was something you'd like to say, I'm sure that she would be glad to hear it.
Of course. I am going to cast Goodberry.
Okay.
My go-to.
Sure. It should be noted that while you cast this spell here, none of the black smoke that was so frequent in the wastelands is prevalent. And since you've crossed out of Basamortok, the desert, you have not been plagued by the chaos monsters that were seemingly following your magic. And so Goodberry is cast with no problem. I believe you're rolling a D10 and adding wisdom.
D10 adding wisdom, which, of course, I didn't have my dice right in front of me. Right.
Come on.
Roll me a D10, David.
I could do that.
Do it.
Hold on. Where's a D10? Boom shakalaka. Rolling it. Ocho.
Okay.
Ocho?
So it's,
And
yeah,
your wisdom
so it's-
modifier is +4.
It is
So you
correct.
get the full 10 berries.
I produce these 10 berries in my hands, and I come to kneel down next to Brichelle, and I say, what was your son's name?
Zar.
Zar. And I invite both Iratran and the priest to kneel on the other side of the grave, so all four of us are surrounding the grave.
The priest seems to be in his element and completely following your lead with grace.
We gather here today to honor the life of Zar, who was taken from us early. But in the realm of nature, there is no time for life and death. There's only those two. And in life, and I can't hold one of the good berries up, in life, we feed and we sustenance and we give back to the world. And I hand one berry to each of the people, and I invite them all to eat the single berry. And I say, and in death, and I take the rest of the berries and I scatter them on top of the coffin. We give back to the world what it gave to us to begin with. And then I'm going to cast Druidcraft to take the petals that have surrounded the grave and slightly sprinkle them on top of the berries themselves. I look over to Brichelle and I say, in death, even something so sad as this, life can be born. We will bury these petals, and we'll bury these berries, and out of it, perhaps new life will spawn. So that when you come here to this space to remember Zar, you will see that life can continue forward, even in the face of death.
She places a hand on your arm and says, you know what it's like to lose a child?
Yes, I know what loss is. And even if we lose those that are closest to us, they can still be right next to us all the time. Losing a child is the hardest thing. But such is life.
She gives you a hug. She's not cured of her grief, but it's obvious that she appreciates the words.
And last thing I say to her, as I know she's still sad, nothing can take away your sadness, but perhaps knowing that others have been through it will help you live with it easier.
She nods. There's a little bit more ceremony. It seems just some local custom, but then the dirt is put into the grave, and Brichelle goes to wait on the wagon as the priest leads you back towards the path and says, I do appreciate what you've done for Brichelle today, travelers. If there's anything in return, I would love to assist.
Well, we're on the road to Porchwalk right now.
Yeah. Any supplies would be helpful. Although I think we're pretty covered, actually.
We're pretty good.
General store.
Do we need what? What? We should get more. Oh yeah. Do you have any more information on the, what was that called? Oh, the murderer. Do you have any more information on the murderer?
I don't know as much as some of the guardsmen in town, but I do know that he was there claiming to be investigating objects of power and seemingly looking through, well, at least spending time in the graveyard.
Definitely magical.
He goes over to the cart and he grabs 2 water skins and just a package of rations. And he says, we're not long for the road. You might as well have these. And he hands them over and he says, if you're going towards Portuak, I recommend that you take the northern road when the path forks. The southern road is grown over and desolate. And it passes far too near the cursed swamps. I wouldn't recommend traveling that way. Very few people do.
Cursed swamps sound fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's not the impression I was getting, but all right. Thank you very much.
Clearly, we should go south.
He bows to you, Argus, and says, I plan to use some of your words in future services. I do appreciate the both of you helping us and taking a moment.
Yeah. If you ever need a man to hold a coffin, I'm your guy.
Priest, I invite you to, though you have so many ceremonies that I know are your own, and many that you have passed from generation to generation, I invite you to sit in the woods and just listen. And there's going to be so many more answers than just what you speak or what you speak to others, if you just listen.
I just might do that. And he returns to the cart and gives the little mule that carried it flick of the reins, and he and Brichelle head off back towards Erdakoa, the city that you just left, and leaving you to the road as the camera pans back to show, almost in response to Argus's description of life and returning to it, a dazzling plain covered in green grass, a small grove of cherry blossoms, and the rain, which is now starting to burn away.
Which brings... he's not going to listen.
He seemed okay.
Eh.
Which brings us back to Triss. You survive with Botan, though it is a grueling afternoon, and make it back after changing to Portuak in time to catch up with Naomi and Jer at Jer's little warehouse hideout.
The Jer house hideout.
The Jer house hideout. And he says, well, that took you long enough there, Triss, didn't it?
Is this just Jer, or is this Jer and Naomi here?
Jer and Naomi. They're actually chumming it up at the table. You can see that they've got a couple glasses of stolen wine, and they're just kicking back pretty relaxed.
Okay. Sorry, I ran into... I got held up. What you doing?
Oh, just thinking and plotting and scheming.
Oh, anything I want to be involved in?
I think so.
Lay it on me.
I'm just hesitating because I've done too many British accents, and I just need to find Jer's real quick. Were you speaking a Cockney? Talking a Cockney accent for me, would you, Lisa?
I can't remember it anymore.
Look at us.
Cool,
We're fucking
blimey.
professionals. There you go, Trish. Thank you so much.
There you go. You got
Yeah, I was going My Fair Lady. I was like, move your
Thank
blooming
you.
ass.
Naomi, I do appreciate it so much. I just normally, to keep these things different, I do different types of dialects, but it seems everyone in Berdea has got a stupid British dialect. Oh well. Yeah, we just been sitting here cutting up, waiting for you. Did you go? He starts to kind of look at you, and what are you wearing, Triss?
I'm just wearing a pair of pants and a linen tunic, and then like a brown sort of linen over jacket, and it's tied at the waist with like a sash and a little bag.
He says, well, you get it dressed pretty quick then. It looks like your scar's in a slightly different position than the last time.
And I'm
Is that like a healing thing that you can do? That's impressive. Like you can just...
He's just kidding. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He should get his eyes checked, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, movable scars. That is not a thing.
That's... I mean, maybe... I don't know. I spend most of my time in the woods, so it could be. Anyway, listen. So it seems I was just talking with Jer here, who is great, by the
he's
way.
okay. He's okay.
I mean, we were getting along famously, but you know, it seems we were talking about you, Triss, because it seems that we have, you know, some goals in common, some interests in common. You know, being inside of certain inns in common.
You told her about the Oaken.
It was written plain on your face. I don't know how I expect you to not say it. Are you interested? Because she's trying to...
Yeah, of course I'm interested. Who wouldn't be interested? They tell me I can't go in, I want to go in.
I thought so.
Why?
Well, it just so happens that we were going down the list of all the deeds, you know, and the feats and the dragons and all the stuff that's just sounded just so unnecessarily
Murderous.
complicated.
Absolutely murderous.
I know, who has time? Not me. So listen, there's one that's sort of flower gathering adjacent, and that really seems like our speed. So we're thinking we're gonna go for that one, and just check the box, get in the inn, and call it a day. What do you think? You up for some horticulture?
Jared, can I talk to you in the back room just real quick?
Absolutely.
Just real quick. Are we at an earshot?
Yes.
What are you doing? I don't even know this person.
But believe me, I spent the whole night with Naomi. We've just been cutting it up. Had a lovely time.
Really? You think I can get away with pretending to be Triss in front of this complete stranger for I don't even know how long to go pick some flowers?
Look, I ain't saying that you need to pretend to be Triss. You're the only one walking around here pretending that you need to pretend to be Triss.
You know I can't be myself. They would hold me back and they would never let me leave.
Maybe. Look, here's the deal. I think this Naomi character is just the type that you want for your bunch that I know you're thinking about recruiting.
Well, I was planning on doing it with you. Are you trying to get out of it?
And I was thinking that you're going to need someone in town to run the day-to-day, some of the more administrative things, especially if you get any of that treasure, you're going to need a fence. And so while you're out there doing all the easy stuff, I stay in town, I make the relationships, and when you come back, I can help you show the goods. And this way, with Naomi and maybe just a few others, and I got an idea how to find them, well, you don't need me to get inside.
All right, that's a good point. I have to come up with a story, though. How long are we going to be gone?
Oh, well, I don't know. He actually points back to Naomi and he says, hey, can we look at that map?
What? Oh, yeah. You got it. Go into the little... Oh, I don't have the mechanism, do I? That's back with the cartographer. I just have the map.
No, you would have it. The
Okay.
cartographer was clear about what the combination was.
Yeah.
Think about a brass tube with several rings around it that need to be twisted in the right order. It's just a nimble little work, but you're able to do it.
Yeah, I've seen the Da Vinci Code.
Exactly. All right, so you pop the map out of there, and it's actually in pretty good shape, and you have the idea that it's because it just hasn't seen much use. It's a local map. And there is a place called the Garden on it, but it is located in the middle of a place called the Horuscarn. Are either of you familiar with that name?
The Horuscarn?
Roll history.
Ooh. God, that sounds pointy, doesn't it? Ooh.
What do we lore or history?
History.
That's a 23.
Okay. You've definitely heard of it.
20.
Okay, you've heard of it as well. So you've both heard of it in different contexts. Triss, you've heard of it as a place that is kind of a staple, scary story for most of the children in this part of the country.
Okay.
It's known as like a cursed swamp. What you've heard is that that's where mud men will pull you under and you become one of them. And if you misbehave, your parents will take you out to the Horuscarn and leave you at night. Naomi, you've heard about it in the same general terms, but as a lot of your work is protecting a part of the forest using illusions to create a place that seems haunted, The Horroscarn has been described to you as a place that doesn't need anybody to create illusions to make it seem haunted, because it is, in fact, cursed. It is a very dangerous and often avoided part of this island. And so when Jer sees that, he says, "Oh, fuck. I thought this was supposed to be an easy one."
I mean, that's how they get you, right? They lure you in with the flower. It sounds so nice and peaceful, and then you have just like nightmare land all around the flower, and it's a classic. It's a bait and switch, But that's what. Listen. That's okay, Jer. Keep in mind who's going to be here, safe and sound, just not adventuring at all, just not encountering any of the scary guys. Who's you? That's you, right?
Yeah, that's me.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. So we don't need you to bring this negativity and scariness in here. All right, Trist,
Right.
how are you with like jump scares, shadowy figures, animated sort of golem kind of stuff? What's your, talk to me.
It's really hard to scare me. So I've heard so many stories of this area growing up. Kids go missing, found later, just their bones. Sometimes their soul is stuck in the area and it can't move on to the afterlife, all sorts of stuff, but it doesn't bother me. So let's do it.
Yeah.
Jared's just like deadpan, just like
Okay. Great. I think we're gonna have a good old time. All right. Well, I don't know. I guess it's probably best to go in daylight, right?
I don't think we're quite ready to be going to the Horroscarn yet. And if you will allow me to take you to the closest pub with the strongest ale, I might be able to introduce you to my next greatest idea.
Another idea from... yes.
I'm sorry, Triss. What was that?
Nothing.
I didn't think so. So Jared takes you out into Portuak. It's a bit early when you start, but he's going to lead you on a bit of a bar crawl. He says, now what we do is we go to the dirtiest, grimiest, dingiest, no good, beaten down places where the toughest people drink. And when they're drunk and they're stupid, we convince them to go with you on this quest.
Okay. You think we should have a loud group of stupid people around us?
Right. That sounds not the smartest.
We'll interview them first.
But what if they're terrible when they're sober? How are we going to keep them drunk the whole time?
This is an excellent point.
Like I said, you leave the administrative duties to me. And he absconds out of the Jer House hideout and down the ladder into the alley, leading you to the first pub, which is not far away. Jer's means are simple. What he does is he walks in, trusts Triss's eyes to find the meanest motherfucker in the bar, and then the three of you invite them over for a drink. Triss, roll perception.
9.
Okay. The first person you see looks to be a spellcaster. They have upward curled gray hair around a generous bald patch. They're wearing a blue robe with stars that have been hand sewn onto it, and holding a knobbly staff. They jump at Jer's invitation for a free drink and sit down across from you. Jer lays out the groundwork of, we've got a quest, we're looking to hire, what are your capabilities, and then turns it over to the two of you. Is there anything you'd like to ask this person, who introduces himself as Nasal, the Magnificent, and downs half of his tankard in one gulp?
Wow. Nasal, I gotta say, you really look the part. You
Oh,
know,
so
I
much.
would describe your whole vibe as just extremely on the nose. You know, well done.
Eccentric to the T.
Ooh,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
He holds up a hand and then pulls out like a flat circle and then punches his hand through it so that you can see it's a wizard cap, and he puts it on and
Wow.
says, "Voila!
Do you got a rabbit in there?
I do not, but I might be able to transmogrify one of them."
I mean, I'd like to see it.
Into what?
He takes his tankard, downs it all the way, and then sticks it into the hat. He then says something, and when he pulls it out, the handle is on the other side of it. Oh, magnificent, just like the benefactor of this spell. And he sits it down, and he says, "Now tell me, what is the mission?"
It's
I
dangerous.
turn my own tankard back and forth so the handle goes to the other side.
This is wasted on him.
Okay. Well, it's a mission of the utmost sensitivity, and I have to say there could be considerable danger not only to your bodily form, but to your outfit.
Also,
It's
your
going to
soul.
be a lot of brambles, and
I am afraid of
It's-
nothing. Where is it you
Okay.
mean to take us?
well, once we decide that you have skills necessary to our group, then we'll give up the coordinates. So just sit tight there, Nasal. How about a little it would be the handle thing was nice, but I don't know what
it was,
else you
yes.
got up your sleeve.
I could set this building on fire.
Oh no, we've actually had
not
like
necessary. It's
yeah,
okay.
no. Recently, we actually have dealt with a lot of that, and we're good.
A lot
We're
of
set.
fire.
Lot.
Okay.
Lot of fire.
What's the most scary thing, brave thing you've ever done?
Once I escaped from a dragon attack. The entire village was destroyed. But because of my quick thinking, I did not return to warn them and instead headed directly onto the road so that I might escape.
It's pretty good, actually.
That's good. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. Okay. All right. Interesting. Well, if you're up for fighting, something large and pointy and fire breathing, you might actually come in handy on this little jaunt.
He leans in and he says, "Now you tell me, where are we going?"
To a garden.
Tell me more.
I really don't know more because I've never been there. But it's surrounded by haunted swampland, and there might be
Haraskarn?
What
Are you speaking of Haraskarn?
Yes.
Most dangerous. If you'll excuse me. He stands up and goes to get another drink and then just walks right out of the bar.
Okay.
Well, I guess we can't mention that.
No, maybe it was a small dragon. Like,
I mean,
Kind of-
it could have been real small.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, next.
Jer starts bringing you down the bar crawl. Are you guys drinking as you go?
Yeah.
Yes.
Constitution saves from both of you, please.
No frilly champagne for me.
This went super well last time.
15.
That's a 2.
Okay. Naomi is drunk. The human-sized glasses are not treating her very well. What did you say there, Triss? 15?
15.
You're a little buzzed. Jer's holding his own. He's puffing himself up with self-importance and saying that the administrative duties will not allow him to carouse with the rest of you. But he does lead you through several more bars. You meet with a huge human fighter who actually fights with dual warhammers. And when you ask him what kind of things he's been able to accomplish, he says that he specializes in destroying rock golems. But then when Jer lets slip that you're heading towards the Haraskarn, he too makes a quick exit.
Damn.
You find a ninja who will not reveal their face and fights what they call a ghost bow, which is a summoned weapon. And again, at the mention of Haraskarn, they leave. You are crawling through these bars as the camera fades on your faces that are no longer too happy to be looking for the best and brightest of the pub crowd. Iritran and Argus. A tall wall made of spiked logs runs east to west. The main entry of Portuak is tilted open. Guards stand in lazy attention while merchants drive their way in and out. Something about the rigging of Iritran's sailor's garb checks something off in their minds, and they wave you in. The main thoroughfare runs straight to the port. Broken masts line the road all the way to the ocean. Flags blow in the wind while hawkers cry their wares. Haggis, a North Cliff specialty. Get your blade sharpened. Apples, apple brandy, apple pie, apples, now in green. Past all the folk, carts, and shops, the buildings end, and the salt air hits your faces like a violent kiss. Ships rest tilted in their moors as the tide shoves them in and out from the harbor. What are you looking for, Iritran?
I think we need to build a boat. Or not build a boat, we need to buy a boat.
Okay.
Argus, I think we're going to need significantly more gold.
I look out at, I guess we're right in front of the ocean pretty much, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a tree.
You know, in spirit it is.
I don't understand what that even I don't even understand what that means. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's not a tree, is it? That's not a tree.
But you said it was a tree. You said
you said it was a tree.
No, you literally said it was a tree. I said it was the ocean.
But you said that it had things living in it, and it was it was a tree.
Yeah.
I've never seen this thing before. This is just a lot of water.
It's just, a water tree.
As you're having
there's trees under, I guess.
As you're having this discussion and walking down the docks, you are actually hailed by several different crews who are trying to entice you to join them. But most of these vessels are very small, and they're either fishing or merchant vessels, their armaments being quite light, and their crews not looking too savvy with the sword.
I think, actually, you really know a town after a beer.
Okay.
You're so easily persuaded. I love it.
You offered me ale with lemon in it. That is now my new favorite thing.
As you turn to leave, are you going to go looking for a bar?
Oh, absolutely.
As you turn to leave, you actually come upon a ship that catches your eye, Iritran. It is unlike the others that have been hailing you. It's a 3-masted frigate with square sails and the royal insignia spread out boldly across the aft. And there is a centerpiece, reads her name in bright golden script. It's the Gallant. Sailors crawl around her deck and rigging, setting things in order, tar patching holes and replacing broken lines of tiers. These fellows and ladies look like they are savvy with a sword. As you are passing by, there is a man in a ruffled shirt and tight-fitting vest who calls out to you, "Orders!"
For me? Am I taking
He's looking right at you, Iritran. Something about you. Roll insight.
All right. Inside. Rolling. 20.
Yeah, you can tell that he has mistaken you for somebody who would be boarding his ship.
Sir?
Orders. He's asking for your papers that would be giving your place on the crew. Identification, that sort of thing.
Yes, I would like a sandwich, and I would like to have a side of fried chips. Thank you.
And for me, I'll just have a nail.
He gives you a very flat look and says, "My apologies. It seems that I've misjudged you."
No, where are you sailing? I don't think you misjudged me. I'm not sure if I'm going on this ship.
This is not the cafeteria?
No,
No.
I'm not.
Well, it just so happens that we aren't going anywhere in particular, but we are following someone.
Who's
And
this?
we must get back out to stop them from getting too far away.
Well, I do like chasing. Who are you chasing?
He points to the crew who's working quickly to repair parts of the ship, and says, "Damned pirates. It seems there's been a run of that thing lately here, and the worst of the bunch set us in our current condition. The Venger."
It's a catchy name.
I know that name.
He turns to you, Irtran, now very interested in what you have to say.
I used to be on that ship.
He looks you over and says, "I wouldn't take you for a pirate."
You're not taking me anywhere.
I see.
Yeah. I have my own plans with that ship. But if I'm going to sail with you, first I have to resolve what I'm doing with my friend here. I'm bound to him. Unless you want to go on this ocean of tree ocean, or yeah, if you want to talk to your friend Argus, if you want to get on the ship.
Oh, I was told to be bound to you. I do need to consult the Duskwell if our next action is if I'm done with you. I mean, if we're done, then if this is the ship that you were supposed to be sent to, then therefore I've done my job.
The fellow at the edge of this ramp holds up a hand and says, "I might be able to simplify these things for you. Unfortunately, this is a royal vessel, so only those who have gone through the full Naval Academy. Or, well, I can see that the second criteria won't matter much. Unless you are sworn through the Naval Academy, there's no place for you on this ship."
What's the second criteria?
Yeah.
"Oh, well, unless it is that you, by some means I would not have anticipated, bear one of the badges from the last Oak Inn, there's nothing I can do for you here."
But there are so many oaks. Why would there be a last one?
have to go
In Portuak, you will learn there are no trees save one. It is a massive oak towards the center of town, and it hangs over a very exclusive tavern, one I personally have not had the pleasure of drinking inside.
Well, we were looking for a tavern. I feel like this might line up with our end goal. Let's get you that ale, Argus.
Okay.
You
With
see,
lemon, please. Moldy lemon. Thank you.
This fellow nods to you and continues shouting orders to his crew as you take off. You would be able to find the last Oak Inn easily, though you would come up to some of the same hangups that the other party has faced. There are other taverns nearby, and when you walk into the one that is not so crowded, you see a forest gnome and a girl with a jagged scar across her face, leaving one of her eyes a cloudy white, sitting at a table where a giant of a woman carrying a two-bladed staff stands up and leaves very quickly, their face white. Naomi, Triss, you see something that you haven't quite seen before, which is a high elf and a wild elf entering the bar together as though very familiar.
It sounds like the start of a joke.
Not something you see every day.
Well, that's not something you see every day.
Oh my God, is there an echo in here? Am I right? You guys,
Hey.
you come here. Just come here. Just come over here. You guys should come over here.
Come on.
Come over here.
We got stuff for you.
Come on. They're
Okay.
coming.
I think the gnome is waving to us. I'm not 100% sure why.
Yeah. He sees me. Come here. Come on.
Oh, she's just so happy. I'm gonna go say hello to her.
I mean, if there's a drink involved, I'm there.
This is great. This
yeah,
is so great.
The waitress swings by and asks for your order. there's already 4 empty flagons in front of Naomi.
I will have an ale with moldy lemon, thank you.
She nods.
I would like also a moldy lemon ale with ale. Lemon.
She nods.
I will have.
I like your taste.
I'll have an ale. You can put a lemon on the side, I suppose.
Make it
She
moldy.
nods.
I'll have his lemon. You can put it in mine.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Extra lemon's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll have that too.
She nods and she disappears and returns shortly with 4 ales and a bowl full of moldy lemon slices, and then leaves.
I think you
Jer-
a new drink, Argus.
Takes one of those lemon slices and sucks the juice out of it, and then says, "Yeah, that was just as stupid as it looked."
It
And
was,
says-
but we enjoyed it thoroughly.
Naomi, I think that I'm getting tired of propositioning fools who ain't man enough to come along. Why don't you take point on this one? And he winks at you, Triss.
Oh yeah. I totally got it. Okay, listen, you guys. Okay. All right, listen. I'm just gonna give it to you straight, okay? It's not gonna sound great, but you just listen. Okay, we're going. We have to get a flower. Flowers in the garden.
I love
Sounds
gardens.
so nice.
It does sound so nice.
So nice. Here's the thing. Hold
Okay.
on to your pants. Around the garden is like the worst. It's so bad. Everything is pointy, and when there's under the bush is a bad thing, but it's big, and it's so bad. And we would go, but we get eat. Like, immediately.
You're giddy.
They would be.
We-
Like
we-
you're happy.
No, you eat like eat, like at.
You
Chomp.
eat
So we need.
sweeties.
Sorry, no, we need you guys. You come with us, and you get the pointy thing, and you kill stuff, and then we go to the garden, and we're alive. Then we leave, and we're all alive. Okay, and we'll it'll be so great. We'll pay you some money, and then we come back here after for nachos and some drinks. Do you want to come?
Who are you?
And what's a nacho?
Oh boy, buddy, do I have something for you? But we'll talk about that later. Okay, I'm
Well, yeah, I think-
Naomi.
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 Yeah, no, just the first one. And
Naomi.
yeah, no, just the second part, just the last part.
Nay.
Yeah,
Omi.
yeah, you got it. That was pretty
Okay.
good.
Okay, you're
Right.
Omi.
Good.
Omi.
This is
Pretty-
my friend.
Naomi.
This is my friend. We rescued some orphans,
Oh, that's
and
nice.
now we're best friends.
I love orphans.
Is her name? We rescued some orphans, or is that a thing
No!
that?
Oh my god. You're pretty funny for an elf. Oh my. No! This is Triss. This is Triss.
My name's Triss.
This is
Hello.
Triss.
I'm
Yeah.
Tran, and
Hello, I'm Argus.
Airtran, Argus.
Shh, we're talking to them.
so does and Argus's friend who has no name.
Oh. What friend?
Um,
You have an invisible friend?
Oh,
No.
invisible friend.
No, I don't have a visible friend. That would just be crazy. I don't have an invisible friend.
No, that's how they can come. You
Oh,
can
they can?
totally bring them.
you should invite them.
well-
Jer speaks up and says, Triss, maybe you should step in here just to finalize some of the details.
Yeah, the details. You know who loves details? Jer. This guy, he's the details guy.
Jer-
He's
Jer
so
gives
good
2
at
thumbs
this.
up.
You go take, yeah. You
Hi.
listen to this guy.
Are you
Okay.
coming with us then too, with the sharp objects and the under the bush in the garden thing?
Oh, no. I'm merely going to be your liaison when you return to make sure that all that treasure you find gets a good home and you get plenty of gold in your pocket. Triss here is going to explain to you exactly what it is that we're asking, now that you've got quite a comprehensive overview from Naomi.
Comprehensive indeed. All right.
Thank you.
We're trying to get on the heroics leaderboard so that we can get into the Oak Inn.
Hey, we're trying to get into that Okie Inn.
Well, look at that. It's fate that we met you.
Huh.
We have to go get a flower from a garden,
Flowers. I love gardens.
but it's surrounded by some pretty nasty stuff. So it's not going to be easy. It might take your soul. It might do some other stuff, but I have faith in us. And Naomi and I are in. Are you in?
We have to get into that bar.
Well, we're supposed to get in that bar, so yeah, this sounds like the best possible opportunity with flowers and gardens.
What can you do? Can you do the magic?
The magic? I can do the magic.
Yeah.
I can do some magic. Would you
Yeah.
like to see some magic?
Oh, that's
Yes, please.
great. Wait, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you're just going to turn a cup around, seeing it.
Argus slides his cup over to the side very calmly. Do you have I can just do this, and I take the. I guess I can still do. I can do control shape water with ale, right? And so I take the ale that's in my cup, and I spin my hands over it like this, and slowly a flower forms out of the ale. So it's like I almost like pluck a little flower out of my ale, a little ale flower, and I hand it to Naomi.
Wow. Oh, that's so good. You're not going to still try to drink this. Can I touch it? Is that okay?
Oh no,
I'm
you
just
can drink
gonna-
it. You can drink it if you want.
Oh, great. Oh my God. Let's try
It's
to.
a little flower ale pop, like a frozen ale pop of flour.
That is great.
Yeah.
Tris, did you see this freaking ale pop flower? Look at this.
I did. I think it's going to be real useful to make flowers for
That's
this.
totally what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Not sure
Jared-
how, but we can use
Jared
that.
looks across the table and says to Iratran, he says, I think I know what you do.
All right.
He cuts up monsters. It's really great.
He acts as though he's going to bend over, and when his hand comes back up, he flings an empty tankard right at you, Iratran. Roll dexterity saving throw, please.
Why is he trying to messing with me? 11.
You just barely managed to catch it. And he backs up from the table. And he's like, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. I meant to give you an opportunity to show off and stuff. I was just trying to show you kill people, right? I mean, that's your thing. You kill people, right?
I put down the tankard ever so gently, and I say, I don't try to, but sometimes they bleed out.
Kill people?
Now, it looks like we got a thief. Naomi. Someone who accidentally might let someone bleed out. And then, of course, someone who does the magic. Now, Jer stands up and he says, I would like to just say that we should all be raising a toast in my honor because I've so expertly brought together all you folks who are sure, destined, one might say, to make it into the Last Oak Inn. Here's to, and as he raises his toast, and you all gaze around the table at your new acquaintances, you do hear the bar door creak open and everyone inside goes silent. And you're left sitting there with your glasses in the air. When you all turn around to see who it is that walked in, Iratran and Argus, this means very little to you, but Naomi, you see the cartographer and Ferret who have entered. There's a group of armed toughs which flood into the bar. They do not look to be of any official capacity, only paid to be angry and violent. And the cartographer points a finger at your table and says, "That's them! Kill them!" Blackout.
I follow you. People arrows at me. Like I come to
Holy
the
cow.
table, I get a beer, and people are trying to murder me. Like, what is happening?
Well,
Yeah,
wrong
I'd say that's
kind
a
of
nice little
attention.
spot to leave off.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that'll work.
Agreed. Yeah.
Now, before we get out of here for tonight, I just want to say thanks so much for watching, everybody. We really appreciate all of you coming out to support us. And before you go, please do remember to spread the word, hit the follow button, and best of all, please, if you'd like to, become a subscriber. We love doing this for you, and we'd like to keep doing it for as long as possible. So please help us do that. And until next week, I'm your DM, Jesse Keeter, saying, are you in?
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Next time.